Now, not everybody can attend WCIT DigiTec in person, so the next best possible thing, of course, is to bring them in virtually. We live in a virtual world often these days. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Cass Sunstein, the Robert Walmsley University professor at Harvard and former administrator of White House Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs, who is going to be appearing virtually. Mr. Cass Sunstein, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Greetings from the United States to all. I am honored and very grateful to be here to get to talk to you. And I'm also inspired by the work that's being done in Armenia and all over the world to try to get economies growing, to get poverty reduced, and to try to get well-being increased. My topic is an unusual word. The word is sludge, S-L-U-D-G-E. And I'm not sure if it translates into all languages, but it has a kind of unpleasantness, the word sludge, which is intentional and I hope productive. So the word sludge, as I'm using it, refers to obstacles and burdens and administrative barriers that prevent people from growing, that prevent people from using AI in some cases, that prevent people from taking advantage of opportunities that are available. Sludge is a curse, and sludge can be found in the practices of governments all over the world. It can be found in the private sector. Sometimes it's intentional, and sometimes it is not intentional. Sludge is for human beings often a curse. It makes it very difficult for them to get their lives improved and better. I have two stories for you. Just last night, I was in the airport in Washington, D.C., and I ran into someone who had worked under President Obama in the White House with me. And he noted that in his work, he's concerned with small business and economic growth. He noted that in Europe in particular, where he's doing a lot of his work, the challenges for innovation and for economic development often take the form of sludge. Paperwork requirements, long waiting times, permit requirements, licensing requirements, technical barriers in some cases, but often psychological barriers to development and growth. When I worked in the government under President Obama, there was one regulation that was spectacularly successful in reducing sludge. And it's just a story, but it's a story that has general implications. The question is, how do we help parents of children who are poor to get access to free school meals to which they have a legal right? So parents should be helping their children to get free school meals if they're poor. And how do we get them to do that? The answer was to make it automatic, to switch from a little sludge to no sludge. They're automatically enrolled. They don't have to take advantage of automatic enrollment if they don't want to. If they want to bring their own lunch, they can, but automatic enrollment was the order of the day. And as a result of that program in recent years, over 10 million children have been enjoying access to free school meals, and these are poor children who have a legal right to it. Take that as a lesson about how elimination of sludge can increase participation rates very dramatically. To discuss the harms introduced by sludge, let's just notice that sludge would be for any of us who've trying to get access to something. Maybe it's a technology, maybe to use AI. Sludge is a barrier. The costs of navigating it may outweigh the benefits, and we might just give up. If people are human, and if they are not themselves AI, then the problems posed by sludge are often especially serious. So we know from decades of research in behavioral science that people tend to procrastinate. That's true for all of us in some domains. That people tend to be unrealistically optimistic. That's built into our species. It's probably a good thing to be optimistic, then you won't give up. But if you are unrealistically optimistic, you might think you'll navigate sludge when you won't. And people tend to focus on the short term, not the long term. So if people are focused on today and not tomorrow, that's part of how our brain works. If people are tending to procrastinate, and if people are unrealistically optimistic, then sludge can be a terrible barrier to improvements of multiple kinds. There's some work on the human mind and how it operates that shows that whether you're old or young, whether you're male or female, whatever the color of your skin, no matter how much education you have, you will tend to suffer from a kind of scarcity of mental bandwidth, a little like the laptop that I'm speaking through right now. It has a lot of bandwidth, but it doesn't have infinite bandwidth. The mind is like that too. When people are old or busy or not feeling well or struggling with economic difficulty, the mental bandwidth problem increases dramatically. So the challenge of finding cognitive space in the head to manage sludge, that problem is fortified if people are very busy, if they're struggling with an economic problem, if they are not feeling well, if they're struggling with depression or anxiety, or if they're elderly. These features of the human mind, that is scarcity, make sludge not just a curse, but a form of cruelty that can have a much more serious negative effect than we would anticipate. Okay, what are we going to do about sludge? In my country, the United States, we do annual sludge audits. Sludge audits. That is, we try to establish the magnitude of sludge and to try to locate it. So in a recent year, the number of hours in paperwork requirements imposed by the United States government was quantified. It's over 10 billion hours, over 10 billion hours of paperwork requirements. A lot of it comes from the Department of Transportation. That's a significant contributor, imposing sludge on truck drivers and airlines. A lot of it comes from the Department of Homeland Security. If you're trying to get into the United States, or if you're trying to help someone get into the United States, you have to navigate sludge. A lot of it comes from our Department of the Treasury, which imposes a lot of sludge through the tax system and through other requirements. A lot comes from our Environmental Protection Agency, which imposes a significant amount of sludge on people, often for good ends, that is trying to get people to pollute less, but sometimes the sludge is excessive. Once one has done a sludge audit, and this is being done all over the world, the OECD has something called an International Sludge Academy, which has a recent report called Fixing Frictions, which is a result of an analysis of sludge in multiple nations. Once the sludge audit has been conducted, there's an impetus to reduce sludge. And I'll give you just some examples. At the United States Department of Homeland Security, there was recently a requirement to eliminate 20 million hours in sludge within about a year, to eliminate 20 million hours of administrative burdens, paperwork requirements within a year. And that very ambitious goal was exceeded, not just met, exceeded. And people all over the country who've been enjoying access to services, it might be domestic travel, it might be getting a visa when they have a legal right to it. People all over the country are saying with cheer, with a smile, they're saying, what is happening at the Department of Homeland Security? The Biden administration broadly, the Biden-Harris administration, and this is one thing that everyone seems to like, it's not limited to people of any political affiliation. The Biden-Harris administration has said it is going to tackle time taxes, to eliminate time taxes. And that is a sludge reduction effort. It bears on innovation and economic growth. it bears on poverty reduction, it bears on environmental improvement as well. And the elimination of time taxes has taken the form of an executive order that specifies in multiple ways what parts of the government must do to eliminate sludge. This includes requirements, for example, that people can get passports online. It includes requirements that people can get access to services automatically, like that. If they are legally eligible, they don't have to do anything. They will be automatically entitled to services. It includes for farmers great simplification of requirements for things that farmers need, and that's intended to help farmers to grow economically in what is often a very challenging time. The attack on time taxes has manifested itself in things that make it so that if employers need authorization to work, the time that they get authorization is not 180 days, it's 540 days. And while that shift from 180 days to 540 days might seem small and a little like a number, people are cheering all over North America because they don't have to apply for permits. In the domain of technological innovation and AI, the reduction of sludge is a great opportunity. We can use technologies to make things easy and simple for people, and we can make it easy for people to get access to technologies that can make their lives a lot better. Sludge reduction is not part of the International Declaration of Human Rights. It's not freedom of speech, it's not freedom of religion, but there's a good argument that sludge reduction belongs on a list of things that are necessary for people to enjoy good lives. After COVID, there's a question which a number of people have been asking. I hope it's after COVID, which is what is the most precious thing that human beings have? Of all the things that we're lucky enough to have, what is the most precious of all? There are many good answers to that question. In 2024, maybe there's one answer that's better than the other good ones, and it's a four-letter word, time. Let's find, shall we, ways to give other people more of that.
Right.
Thank you.